Hey, what's up, guys? Sam here, and I'll be doing the free video for Friday, June 9th, 2023. So, in the last Friday video that I had with you guys here on the YouTube, we talked about a potential for a rotation into the unloved parts of the market, the bottom feeder tech names, the Affirms, the ARCs, things like that, and potentially even into things that are even really more unloved, like the IWM, small caps, things like that. So they did have a pretty big week this week. All of those names, the high short interest tech stocks that nobody likes, and as well as the IWM had a pretty big week. So the question is, will that continue? And I really don't have an answer to that. I haven't seen enough to believe it quite just yet, but there is also a potential, and I'm going to show you here on the charts, that everything can start to participate, right? The tech will continue to lead, but then the IWM might kind of come along with it for the first time in a long time, and then things like the Dow and all the other things outside of tech might also help. There are the seeds here going into the summer for kind of a blow off top scenario, right? And you can see it really clearly, in my opinion, on the monthly charts. So let me show you what I'm looking at here. I'm going to start with Apple, just because Apple's kind of just the cleanest monthly chart that you're probably going to see. And it has almost a perfect signal, which is right here. So the perfect signal, it starts at the top. You want to see stacked moving averages, angled, which you do have. You want to see a good looking squeeze, and this is actually, in my opinion, probably the best looking squeeze because it went lower but it didn't fire. So it's kind of a little bit of a slingshot type of squeeze, which is really good. You want to see the green line above the red, both above 50, and then you definitely want to see this little green arrow. That little green arrow goes a long way, you can tell, because look at the last time that you got a couple of those. That was in 2019, and then from there you just go straight up. So this signal that we see right here is actually arguably even better than the signal back there that I just showed you in 2019. Now, Apple is important for obvious reasons. It's the biggest stock in the world. They just dropped a product that could be, a little bit of a game changer. So it's definitely a setup to be aware of and to keep probably number one on your list. But let's go over here to the rest of the market, because while Apple is very, very poised here, even at all-time highs, we're going to look at the S&P weekly and the S&P daily, and you're going to notice that I only have two levels that are marked on the chart there in terms with price levels, and they happen to be those magenta lines basically right where we are. So we now have gotten to the 618 of the entire move, right? So for those of you that are unfamiliar, the 618 is the golden ratio. You can get this level yourself by running it from the all-time high on SPY to the bear market lows, and that 618 comes in at 429.61. There's another level right above that. I'm going to round up and call it 432, and that level is basically from this wick high here before you got a little bit of a move lower. So when you overlap the levels, you see how tightly they are coming in right here. Be aware of that. If the market is going to have any issues, it would have it exactly here, but there's absolutely no signs of any issues. So I do want to kind of caveat that a little bit, because if you're going to have any type of pullback, even just a normal pullback to the 8 or the 21, it happens here, but there are absolutely no signs of it. All signs here would imply that this gets through and potentially even makes a new high from there. I'm going to say it one more time, though. If the market's going to have an issue, it will happen exactly here, because you can see there's no levels marked off on the chart below there or above there. It all comes down to right there, and Fed is probably the key to get above that level or fail. Probabilities would say that it gets above. So that's really the main level I just wanted to show you there on SPY. It's a level you're already aware of, right? We've talked about it here on the YouTube probably for the last 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. So just kind of know those levels: 429.61, 431.73. You can look at it as just a little bit of a zone there, and then once it gets above that, the market's pretty much uncapped, meaning above there you could argue this is a gigantic kind of reversal pattern, and that would take you to extraordinarily new highs. So the potential here for the summer kind of blow off top is very, very much in play. But as we enter next week, do be mindful of the risk of next week, just because you have Fed, ECB, and BOJ making rate decisions. Although there is immediate risk there, also be aware that the next week is the most hedged event of all time. Like, everybody's already hedged up for it. And when that happens, you can actually just get just a bunch of nothing, right? So because everybody's already anticipated and bought puts, chances are that just nothing happens, or if something positive to the upside happens, those puts expire worthless. So just be a little bit mindful there going into next week of the headline risk. But more importantly, for what we do here together, just be aware of the main level here on SPY, 429.61 to 431.73. Above that level, the market becomes uncapped, continually led by tech, and likely led by Apple off that monthly squeeze. So we'll come back in 2 weeks. I won't be with you next week, so make sure you leave me a like this week and a comment, because the algorithm loves the comments. But we'll come back in 2 weeks here and see how it all played out. All right, guys. Cheers. Hey, traders. This is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.